All right, this section is really set up for those who are maybe training for an ultra distance type of an event, something that's going to be well over 7 or 8 hours long, and they want to be able to maximize their ability to use less carbohydrates, so maximize their pace while conserving their carbohydrate level so they can limit the amount of fuel they need to keep going. So we call that metabolic efficiency. Some individuals may also want to be doing these tests primarily because they want to evaluate their fat utilization, maybe look at what they call the crossover, where fat really pretty much is starting to go down and carbohydrates are starting to exceed the needed energy for that particular workload. So either way, we're looking at number one, still the CardioMet profile, which is going to be your first assessment. It's more of the comprehensive look at your cardiometabolic systems. Specifically, we're evaluating the ventilation component because you're hooked up to an O2 CO2 analyzer, and you're going to be going on the CardioMet profile through a fairly short 10 to 15 minute ramping protocol on the bike or the treadmill. So we're analyzing that oxygen or that air that's coming in and out and looking at how much oxygen you're able to deliver, and then how much CO2 is coming out as far as a waste product. So ventilatory response, indirectly there we're looking at the heart's ability to pump out and deliver that oxygen in the blood to the working muscles, and then there at the muscles, how well are they able to utilize and process the O2 to create energy in the muscle, so or create contraction in the muscle. So it's really a comprehensive. The CardioMet profile is kind of the whole picture, all the systems working together to see if we have any kinks in the system, as well as to evaluate what kind of potential you have there. Along the way, we're going to be identifying certain ventilatory thresholds, and these thresholds will point out where our fat utilization is highest at that aerobic threshold, where that anaerobic threshold is, where we start to see fatigue really start to accelerate. This is when it's trained well, is going to be where we can stave off some of the waste products from the energy anaerobic systems and delay that fatigue as you're starting to work harder. So both of these thresholds are kind of key to your overall performance on the endurance side. And then we look at your aerobic capacity. So that's your VO2 max score. So from these, we can pretty much set up your training domains. Where is that key zone 2? This is where ultra takes place, where your fat utilization is highest. So we can evaluate that. We can also look at that anaerobic threshold and see what your potential is at that aerobic capacity. Also, what you might want to do, or what typical ultra distance athletes are focused on, is how much can I do as far as speed or power output at this fat bump, and then how much carbohydrate fuel do I need. So that's where the metabolic efficiency profile comes in. So if we look at your options here, so we have them, should be in here, cardiometabolic profile and the metabolic efficiency profile. So here we are, cardiometabolic profile, and then as kind of a confirmation or another assessment further down the line, we do a metabolic efficiency profile. So CardioMet profile is that ramping, fairly short, 10 to 15 minutes, whole ball of wax. The metabolic efficiency profile, we're going to take more like 5 or more minutes at each stage, right around in that zone 2 level. And we're going to evaluate your fuel requirements there. So we can come up with real definitive levels of carbohydrate need, what you want to do in your fueling, how are we adapting maybe to diet or to the training, Are we able to maintain that fat utilization or even move it up a little bit at a higher power output or a higher pace? So that's what the metabolic efficiency profile is all about. We're also evaluating that crossover point. So if we can see, further down the line in that power output or pace, that you're not going from mostly fat to mostly carbohydrates later on in the test, that's a good indication that your metabolic efficiency is improving. So again, these are really geared towards those who are most concerned about fat utilization. A lot of times we're talking ultra distance, but we may also want to be evaluating diet and how it's affecting this metabolic efficiency. Something like a keto athlete may be inclined to look at their metabolic efficiency to see how they're adapting. So those are your tests. You can schedule it now here, or you can, if you have some kind of a discount code and you want to take advantage of it, you can buy now and schedule later on this sheet here or on this section here. And then finally, there's a link at the bottom. If you want to see how to prepare for these tests, you can click on that and it'll go through the step-by-step. And that way, when you are scheduling, you'll know what you need to be doing as far as the data schedule. All right, if you have questions, though, feel free to contact us. And I hope to see you soon in the lab.